Lyra stood at the station window, watching light move through space. Once, the galaxy had felt cold and endless. Now it felt open. Behind her, life continued. Humans worked, talked, laughed. No one whispered when she passed. No one looked at her with pity. She was not hidden. She was seen. Ethan joined her, holding 2 cups. Ethan smiled. That might be the best description. They stood together in silence, not because they had nothing to say, but because they did not need to prove anything anymore. The Council's decision came days later, not as a threat, not as an order, but as a statement sent across the galaxy. Independent. Status confirmed. Protection of rejected beings recognized. Human advocacy noted. Lyra read the message twice. They used the word protection, she said, softly. Ethan leaned back. Took them long enough. But the most important line was the last one. Candidate. Lyra recognized as a free citizen. Free. The word felt unreal. Lyra began to travel. Not as property. Not as a symbol, but as herself. She visited stations where rejected beings lived in shadows. She spoke to them in simple words. You are not broken, she told them. You were never unwanted. Some listened in silence. All remembered. Ethan stayed behind, watching the station grow busier. Humans were arriving from many systems. They brought supplies, ideas, quiet support. Humanity had not declared war. It had declared care. One evening, Lyra returned to the station. She found Ethan in the small memory room, looking at an old picture. She would have liked you, he said. Lyra stepped closer. I would have liked her too. She took a breath. I can keep traveling, she said. Or I can stay. Build something here. Ethan waited. I want to stay, she finished. Ethan nodded. Then we build. They built slowly. A center for rejected beings. A place with no ranks. No numbers. Just names. Lyra worked with others. Taught. Listened. Learned. She laughed. More now. She stood taller. Sometimes she remembered the hall where she was rejected, but it no longer defined her. Far away. A council observer watched reports. Human influence is spreading, one voice said. Yes, another replied. But perhaps we misjudged them. One night, Lyra and Ethan stood under the station lights. You changed my life, Lyra said. Ethan shook his head. You changed the galaxy, she smiled. No, we did. Above them, human ships moved quietly through space. Not as conquerors. As guardians. The galaxy had rejected her, but humanity gave her a future, and in doing so, it reminded the stars what being human truly meant. Lyra stood near the window. Her reflection shook in the glass. They will not forgive this, she said quietly. Ethan crossed his arms. Humans don't ask for forgiveness when we know we're right. That was new to her. In her world, survival meant obedience. Strength meant silence. But this human stood openly against power that could erase him. Another message arrived. Council. Hearing initiated. They want words now, Ethan said. Good. The main screen filled with faces. Different species. Different shapes. All cold. Human. Ethan, the council speaker said. You have disrupted galactic order. Ethan looked straight at the screen. Your order is built on fear. A murmur spread across the chamber. You took responsibility for a rejected life form, the speaker continued. Explain. Ethan did not hesitate. She is not a life form, he said. She's a person. You judged her worth. You erased her future. Humans do not do that. A council member leaned forward. Humans are weak, emotional, short-lived. Ethan smiled faintly. And yet here you are, afraid of one choice. The room went still. Lyra. Step forward, Ethan, she said softly. Let me speak. I want to, she said. She faced the screen. Her hands shook, but she did not lower her head. You rejected me, Lyra. Sighed. You called me unwanted. You decided I had no value. The council watched in silence. But this human, she continued, did not ask what I lacked. He asked who I was. Her voice grew stronger. He gave me choice, safety, time. That is more than your system ever gave me. One voice interrupted. Your emotions are irrelevant, Lyra straightened. That is why you will fail. The word surprised even her. You fear emotion, she said. Humans use it. The chamber filled with noise. Outside the station, civilian craft signals flashed. Human presence detected. Lyra looked at Ethan. You called them. No, Ethan said quietly. They came. You're not alone, another voice followed. If the council wants to punish him, they deal with us too. The council chamber erupted. Humans are mobilizing. One voice warned. This is escalating, another said. Ethan spoke again. Calm, clear. This is humanity, he said. We protect our own. Especially when you call them worthless. Lyra watched the council hesitate. They had power, but humans had unity. The council speaker raised a hand. No more reviews, decide. The speaker paused. Candidate Lyra will be granted temporary independent status, the voice said. Under observation, Lyra felt her knees weaken. Independent. Owned. Not returned. Ethan exhaled slowly. And the human? The chamber was silent. Human Ethan is declared. Non-hostile, the speaker said. But dangerous. A strange smile crossed Ethan's face. I can live with that. The screens went. Her body shaking. We didn't lose, she whispered. No, Ethan said. We showed them something worse. What? That humans don't need permission to care. Her future was not decided by a system, but she knew this was not the end. The council would not forget, and neither would the galaxy. Somewhere deep in space, a new idea had been born, that what the galaxy rejected, humanity would defend. The galaxy did not change overnight. After the council ships pulled back, the station became quiet again. But this time, the silence felt different. It was no longer empty. It was waiting. Lyra sat by the window, watching. For the first time, she was not afraid of being seen. Ethan stood nearby, reading messages. His screen kept lighting up. What is happening? Lyra asked. People are talking, Ethan said. About you. About us. That word again. Us. Messages arrived from many systems. Traders, workers, even minor species, who had never spoken to humans before. We saw what you did. Thank you for saying no. We were rejected too. Lyra's hands shook as she read them. They feel like I do, she whispered. Yes, Ethan said. And now they know they're not alone. In the council chamber, the mood was tense. They are praising the human. One voice said. They are questioning our standards, another replied. This must stop. But it was already spreading. Footage of Lyra standing beside Ethan played. Across networks, not edited, not polished. Just truth, a rejected one. A human who refused to look away. Days passed. Lyra began to walk freely through the station. No one measured her worth. One human worker handed her a tool. Want to help? She blinked. I am allowed? The human laughed. Of course, Lyra worked with them, fixed panels, carried supplies. No one treated her like glass that night. She realized something. She was not being protected. She was being trusted. A council envoy arrived without warning. No warships. No threats. Just one small vessel. Ethan stood beside Lyra as the envoy appeared on the screen. This meeting is unofficial, the envoy said. Lyra's heart raced. The council has received feedback, the envoy continued. Ethan crossed his arms from people you ignored. The envoy did not argue. Your presence has caused instability, the envoy said, looking at Lyra. But also reflection. Reflection. That word felt strange. Several species have requested changes to rejection laws, the envoy admitted. This has never happened before. It means you mattered. The council offered a choice, not a command, a choice. Lyra could remain dependent, or she could take a new role as a voice for rejected candidates. The room went quiet. Ethan looked at her. Whatever you choose, I'll back you, she said. The envoy nodded slowly. The broadcast reached millions. Lyra stood alone. Before the camera. No armor. But because the system was. The words were simple, honest. I was saved by a human who saw me as a person, not a number. Across the galaxy, people listened. If you reject kindness, Lyra said, you reject your own future. The broadcast ended. Silence followed. Then applause. Not loud. But everywhere. Back on the station, Lyra felt something shift inside her. She was no longer hiding. She was standing. Ethan watched her from a distance. Them, he said. Lyra shook her head. You started it. No, Ethan replied. You finished it. Shadows remained. The council had bent, but not broken. Some still feared humans. Some still feared her. And deep within the system, plans were forming, because the galaxy could forgive rebellion. But it never forgot it. The room she was given was small, but it was warm. A soft bed waited for her. Clean clothes were folded neatly on a chair. Lyra. Places she left quickly. She stepped inside slowly, afraid that someone would tell her it was a mistake. No one did. Ethan showed her the station in silence. He did not explain much. He did not rush her. When she stopped walking, he stopped too. This is the food unit, he said. You can eat whenever you want. Lyra stared at the machine. I do not need to ask. Ethan looked confused. Ask who? Her mouth opened, then closed again. No one, she said. That night, Lyra could not sleep. The bed felt too soft. The room was too quiet. She waited for orders that never came. Morning arrived without alarms. Ethan was in the kitchen when she stepped out. He was making something that smelled warm and simple. Good morning, he said. She hesitated. He asked. She had no answer. They ate together. Ethan did not speak much. He did not watch her closely. He did not comment on how she ate or how much she ate. That alone felt unreal. Days passed. Lyra learned the small rules of human life. Humans did not line up by rank. They did not bow to titles. They argued with machines and laughed at mistakes. Ethan showed her how to fix small things. How to grow food in tiny trays. How to choose what to wear. Choose? She asked one day. Yes, he said. What do you like? She stared at the clothes for a long time. I do not know, she admitted. That night, Lyra stood in front of a mirror. She touched her face, her arms, her body. For years, she had learned to see only faults. Evening, Lyra noticed a small room Ethan never entered. His face changed. Memories, he said. He opened the door. Inside were pictures. Old human pictures. A smiling woman. A life Lyra had never seen. That was my partner, Ethan said. She's gone. Loss was a language she understood. I'm sorry, she said. Ethan nodded. So am I. From that day on, Ethan listened without judgment. He did not interrupt. Broken, he said once. She did not believe him. Not yet. Far away. In a cold chamber of light and screens, the Galactic Council watched. They are bonding. One voice said, "This is dangerous," another replied. Humans form attachments quickly. They must be corrected. A cold feeling in her mind. A drone floated near the station window, watching. Ethan. She said quietly, "We are being observed." He looked at the drone and sighed. "Yeah, I was hoping they'd wait longer." "Is this my fault?" she asked. Ethan turned to her. His voice was firm. "A channel. You're watching, aren't you? You threw her away. You don't get to decide her worth now." Fear crawled back into her chest. "They will take me," she whispered. Ethan shook his head. Not without a fight. Strange that no one had ever fought for her before. That night, Lyra sat alone, thinking. She realized something that scared her more than rejection. She cared. She cared about this quiet place. About this broken human. The galaxy prepared to remind them both that kindness was a threat. The message arrived without warning. It cut through the... She had heard this tone before. It was the sound of authority. Ethan read the message slowly. Galactic Council order, he said. They want you returned. It meant becoming unwanted again. They said I was free, she whispered. They lied, Ethan replied. His voice was calm, but his jaw was tight. The screen lit up. Her body remembered fear before her mind could stop it. She chose to stay. Ethan said, choice is not recognized for rejected assets. The voice replied, asset. The word burned. Ethan took a step forward. She's not property. Outside the station window, space shifted. 3 council ships appeared, large, silent, watching. Lyra felt her knees weaken. They brought ships, she said. They expected me to obey. Ethan replied. He did not. Ethan shut down the channel. Lyra stared at him. They will force you. Ethan met her eyes. Then they'll have to try. He moved quickly now. The calm human turned sharp and focused. He locked doors, powered shields, sent quiet signals into space. What are you doing? In the council chamber, faces watched the human station on many screens. This human is resisting, one voice sighed. He is alone, another replied. Pressure will break him. Humans are fragile. The order was given. A warning blast struck the station shields. Lyra screamed and fell to the floor. The walls shook. Lights flickered. They are attacking, she cried. Not yet, Ethan said. That was a threat. Another message appeared. Final warning. Ethan opened the channel. You rejected her, he said. You erased her future. I didn't steal her from you. You threw her away. She disrupts balance, the council replied. No, Ethan said. She exposes it. Lyra watched him in shock. This quiet human stood alone against ships and power beyond him. For thousands of cycles. Ethan continued. You decide worth with numbers. You call it order. I call it fear. The council was silent. You are not her judge anymore, Ethan said. She is under my protection. Lyra's breath caught. Protection. No one had ever claimed that word for her. The council ships moved closer. A deep hum filled the station. Ethan, Lyra whispered. I don't want you hurt because of me. Ethan turned to her. His voice softened. You're not a burden, he said. You're a reason. That sentence broke something inside her. She stood taller. If they take me, she said, I will go. I will not let them punish you. Ethan shook his head. That's not how humans work. He opened a broadcast channel. Not to the council. To the galaxy. This is Ethan, he said. Human civilian. Signal spread. Traitors. Stations. Other species. You rejected someone for being imperfect, Ethan continued. For not fitting your idea of value. Today you see what humans do with what you discard. Lyra felt the weight of millions of eyes. This is my choice, Ethan said. And I stand by it. In distant space, other ships slowed. Observers listened. Is this true? Questions spread like fire. The council hesitated. The lead council ship sent a final message. Human Ethan, the voice said. Ethan nodded. So will obedience. The channel closed. The ships remained. Waiting. Lyra felt the moment. She asked. Ethan exhaled slowly. Now he said, we see how much they fear a human who says no. The hall was full of noise, light, and cold metal voices. Thousands of eyes watched from high seats made of glass and steel. This was the selection hall, the place where futures were decided in minutes. For many, it was a place of hope. For her, it was the end. She stood alone in the center of the platform. Her name was Lyra. Lyra kept her head down as the scanning lights moved over her body. The system analyzed everything: height, weight, strength, health, and beauty. Numbers appeared in the air. Red symbols followed. The crowd began to whisper, "Too heavy, not suitable, unwanted." Lyra's hands slowly clenched. She had trained for years. She had learned to smile, to obey, to stay quiet. She believed that if she followed the rules, she would be chosen. But the system did not care about effort. It only cared about perfection. A cold voice echoed through the hall. "Candidate Lyra, status rejected." The word hit harder than any weapon. Rejected. The screen above her showed the reason: physical inefficiency, low social value. Some laughed, others looked away. No one defended her. Lyra felt her chest tighten. Her breathing became slow and heavy. She wanted to speak, but her voice would not come out. In this galaxy, rejection meant more than shame. It meant a life with no future, no protection, no place. She was guided off the platform like broken equipment. No one touched her. No one looked at her. She was unwanted. Far away from the bright hall, on a quiet human station, a man sat alone in a dark room. His name was Ethan. The room was small. The walls were old. A single light flickered above him. On the table sat 2 cups, but only one was used. Ethan stared at the empty chair across from him. Once, someone had sat there. Now only silence remained. Ethan had lost his partner years ago. Since then, he lived day by day, doing his work, returning to the same empty room. He did not search for happiness anymore. He only searched for peace. One evening, a message appeared on his screen: Galactic Companion Program, new candidates available. Ethan almost closed it. Almost. He did not believe in programs or promises. But something made him pause. Maybe it was the silence. Maybe it was the memory of being alone. He opened the list. Faces appeared. Perfect faces. Perfect bodies. Perfect smiles. Then he saw her. Lyra. Her profile was marked in red. Rejected. Unwanted. No requests. Ethan frowned. He opened her file. The system explained why she was rejected. Numbers, charts, judgments. Not a single word about her mind. Not a single word about her heart. Ethan leaned back in his chair. "She looks tired," he said quietly. He read her background. Lyra had worked in service stations. She had helped injured workers. She had never broken a rule. She had never complained. And yet, the galaxy had thrown her away. Ethan felt something move inside his chest. Not pity, anger. "This system is wrong," he said. His finger hovered over the selection button. A warning appeared. Warning: candidate marked as low value. Selection not advised. Ethan smiled, but there was no humor in it. "I didn't ask for your advice." He pressed the button. Back in the holding area, Lyra sat on a cold bench. The lights above her were dim. Around her, other rejected candidates waited in silence. Some cried. Some stared at the floor. Lyra did neither. She had no tears left. A sudden sound broke the silence. A notification echoed through the room. "Candidate Lyra, selection request received." Lyra slowly looked up. Her heart began to race. That was not possible. No one chose the rejected. The screen flashed again. Selector species. Human. The room went quiet. Lyra's hands trembled. A human? The guards exchanged looks. Confusion spread across their faces. Lyra stood up, unsure if this was a mistake. For the first time since the hall, she felt something she had almost forgotten. Hope. But she did not know yet that this single choice would change her life and shake the entire galaxy. The room felt smaller after the announcement. Lyra stood in the center, surrounded by guards and silent faces. Her name still glowed on the screen above her head. The word selected by human repeated again and again. As if the system itself did not believe it, a human had chosen her. Whispers moved through the hall like a quiet storm. A mistake. Humans have strange minds. He picked a rejected one? Lyra's heart beat fast. Her legs felt weak. She had waited her whole life to be chosen, but this moment felt unreal. Rejected candidates were not meant to be saved. They were meant to disappear. A tall official stepped forward. His uniform shined with authority, and his eyes were cold. "This selection is unusual," he said. "The human must confirm." A large screen lit up. Ethan appeared on it. He looked nothing like the perfect beings in the hall. His hair was messy. His face showed age and tiredness. His eyes, however, were calm and clear. Lyra looked at him and froze. This was the human. The official turned to the screen. "Human Ethan, do you confirm your request for candidate Lyra?" Ethan nodded. "Yes." A pause filled the room. The official raised his voice. "You are aware she was rejected. She does not meet galactic standards." "I know," Ethan replied. "She offers no status," the official said. "No beauty rank, no genetic advantage." "I'm not shopping for parts," Ethan said. "I'm choosing a person." The crowd reacted at once. Some laughed. Some looked angry. Others looked confused. Lyra felt her chest tighten. No one had ever spoken like that about her. The official frowned. "Humans are emotional. This choice may cause regret." Ethan leaned forward. "I've lived with regret. This isn't it." Silence followed. The system ran another scan. Warnings filled the air. Risk detected. Selection not recommended. Ethan did not look away. "I accept the risk," he said. The official turned to Lyra. "Do you accept this human's request?" Lyra opened her mouth, but no sound came out. She had been trained to answer quickly, to obey. But this question felt different. This was not an order. This was a choice. She swallowed and forced her voice to work. "Yes," she said quietly. Word felt heavy. Real. The system beeped. Selection confirmed. A shock moved through the hall. The guards stepped back. Some officials argued. Others stared at Lyra as if she had broken reality itself. Lyra's hands shook. She looked back at the screen. Ethan smiled slightly. Not proud, not excited, just kind. "You don't have to be afraid," he said. "I'm not here to own you." That sentence hit her harder than the rejection ever had. Later, in a private transfer chamber, Lyra sat alone again. But this time, it felt different. The walls were still cold, but the air felt lighter. A message appeared on the small screen in front of her. "Human. Transfer conditions," she read slowly. "No ownership. No forced bond. Freedom to leave. Equal status." Lyra blinked. She read it again. Was this real? In her world, selection meant control. It meant losing yourself to another's power. But this human offered something dangerous. Choice. Her door opened. Guard looked uneasy. "Human rules are strange," he said. "Be careful." Lyra stood and followed him. On the human station, Ethan waited near the docking gate. The area was quiet. No crowds. No celebration. Just soft lights and low sounds. The transport door opened. Lyra stepped out. She froze. This place was small, simple. No gold. No shining towers. No servants waiting. Ethan stood a few steps away. He did not move toward her. He did not touch her. Double Kai. He said. The word was simple, soft. Lyra nodded slowly. "Hello." For a moment, neither spoke. "You can leave anytime," Ethan said. "I mean it. This isn't a trap." Lyra studied his face. She saw sadness there. Loss. But not cruelty. "Why did you choose me?" she asked. Ethan took a breath. "Because everyone deserves to be chosen at least once." Lyra felt her eyes burn. No one had ever said that to her. Before she could speak again, alarm sounded softly in the distance. Red lights flashed once, then stopped. Ethan frowned. "That's strange," he said. On a distant screen, a message appeared. Galactic Council monitoring activated. Lyra felt fear return to her chest. "What does that mean?" she asked. Ethan looked at the screen, then back at her. "It means," he said calmly, "they're watching us now." And somewhere far beyond the station, the galaxy began to question a single human choice.